I have been making vision boards for over 8 years now, and I would say the last 3 years is when I really mastered my craft, maybe the last 4 years. And these have been the most effective vision boards to date. And I'm going to share everything you can do to have your most successful vision board. I'm filming in my room today, so you can see my vision board in the back right there. Let me give you a little history of how effective my vision boards are. My vision boards are so effective that even the things that I just put that I didn't really want, I ended up getting them. So, this is to say, be careful with what you put on your vision board because I put an iPhone 11 in the year that the 12 came out. I wanted to get an iPhone 12, but I was too lazy to actually go and find a picture of the iPhone 12. So I was like, it's fine. I'll just put a picture of the iPhone 11. I know I want the 12. I really needed a new phone and my phone was almost dying. I could not get my hands on the 12 no matter how hard I tried, and I ended up with the 11, which is the phone I still have today. And again, last year, I really wanted to go on my own vacation, whether it meant a solo vacation or going with my friends. I just really wanted to go on a vacation. And I really wanted to go to Paris, but I also just wanted a nice international vacation. So whether that meant going to Italy or wherever, I just thought I'd go on vacation somewhere. I was not thinking about going on vacation to Dubai. However, I did see this really beautiful picture on Pinterest of this girl at the aquarium in Dubai. And I was like, that is so pretty. I love aquariums. Let me just put that on my vision board because it looks very aesthetic and cute. And I do want an international vacation. So maybe where I'll go, there'll be an aquarium. Guess what happened? I wasn't able to go to Paris, but I was able to go to Dubai and I saw that exact aquarium that was in the picture. So this is going to teach you how to be very intentional about everything you put on the board and how you do it. Before you even make your vision board, the first thing you need to do is ask yourself why. Why do you want a vision board? Do you even have goals for the year, or are you just doing the vision board because you think it's trendy and there's a bunch of videos of people saying, hey, do your vision board, and you think you're doing it because it's fun? Like, what's the reason? Now, for me, I have very big goals and I always do. And they're to the point where people think I'm delusional, which is fine because I usually achieve the goals. And they're like, oh my God, how did you do it? Okay. So if people think you're delusional, that's fine. Your vision board is not for sharing with anyone. It is your personal thing. Also, sometimes vision boards can be very overwhelming because you start thinking of your entire life and all the goals that you have to achieve. Sure, you can put one or two things that may be like within your next 5 years, like putting a house or something like that. But focus the vision board on the year. This is how I do mine. I just focus it on everything I'd like to possibly achieve this year. And if it doesn't happen this year, it's fine. But focus on this year to make it less overwhelming because you don't have to think that far ahead. And on top of that, you are human. Next year, you might change your mind. So now here is the key to have the most effective vision board. We have three major steps. The first step is to make a list of the things you want, but break it down in sections. You can have 6 sections, you can have 8 sections. I usually have 4 sections. So I break these sections down into one, love, and what's included in love is like romantic love, family, friends. The next is health and fitness, and this includes physical fitness, body goals, mental health, hair growth. And then I have a financial list, which is all my business plans, my financial goals. If I have any specific numbers anywhere, I will break this down later on. And then my final list, in no particular order, is travel. This is where I put where I would like to travel. And then I always have a bonus category, which is luxury. Now, under here, I put any luxurious physical item that I would like. That's not a necessity. So if I don't happen to get it, it's fine. It's just something I would want. So if there's a certain handbag, makeup, skincare that I don't need, but I just want it because I like nice things. So now once you have this list, you will have your basically four little lists of everything you want in those categories. Now for the second part of the trio is to journal. Now, this is the thing I started doing in the past 3 years, and I think it might be the game changer, the thing that actually makes your goals come to life. Journaling is a huge, huge part of this. Now, I don't mean start journaling every day. Like, no, I mean journal, a specific journal entry just for your vision board. So what you want to do is journal in sections. So basically look at the lists that you have and start wherever you want to go, and then journal section by section as if it's like the end of the year everything that you wanted has already happened. Everything on your vision board has come true. And you're journaling from the perspective of knowing what it feels like to already have those things. So journaling allows you to figure out why you want the thing. It allows you to feel the feeling that you get when you want it. And this is actually a tricky process because sometimes while you're journaling, you might discover that what you thought you wanted, you don't actually want, but it's a good thing because it might redirect you. So let's say as you're journaling, you're like, it's the end of the year. I really stuck to my fitness goals. My stomach is the flattest it's ever been. My skin is glowing. My ex is going to be so jealous. He's going to be so mad that he left me. And then you're like, wait, did I really do all that for the entire year? Put in all that work, go to the gym, eat healthy, sleep early. All those things were just to like spite my ex. One, he might not notice. You might have been the problem. Two, what if he wants you back? Like, did you really aspire to change yourself and make yourself better? Just to go back to the person who essentially made you feel terrible? No, you might be like, wait a minute. I think I want to do this for myself. Maybe I won't even be thinking about my ex by the end of the next year. Like, I don't care. I want to do this for me. So that's how the redirection happens when you're journaling. So there's a specific way that I journal about two specific things. They're the most loaded when you're thinking about them. So you don't have to also limit yourself like, okay, each section should have one page. If it means it's one page, it's one page. If it's half a page, it's half a page. If it ends up being 4 pages in one section, it's 4 pages. Just let it naturally flow. Use as much detail as possible while also being vague enough to allow things to happen in a way that you're not aware of. If you think of it in a very specific way, you might miss your blessing. So if you say, I'm going to make an extra $1,000 a month and I'm going to make it by selling this specific product or doing this specific service, you might be able to get it from somewhere else in an even easier way. But then because you're locked in, no, I know I said exactly, I'm going to do exactly this, and this is how I'm going to get the money. Know that you're going to be detailed in doing everything you possibly can to get this money, but be open to the point where it's coming from. So I'm going to give you an example of a rough journal entry you could do. So let's start with love. Instead of journaling by just like making a list, let's say you're trying to attract your ideal, your dream man, the perfect man, your boyfriend, your husband, whatever. The way I used to think of it was very much like a list. Like, I want to meet a man who is tall and handsome and curly hair, and he makes this amount of money, and he drives this car, and he does this. Like, a lot of people journal like that, which if that's the way you want to do it, that's also fine. But for me, I find that if I leave it like what I said, specific but open-ended, it works better. So here's an example of a journal entry. I would write it as if I'm explaining something that happened in a day. So I wrote it down so I don't forget. So if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my computer so I can read it to you exactly how I wrote it. By the way, this is not what I'm journaling. This is not what I journaled in my vision board journal entry. I just did this for the video so you have an idea of what it's like. I'm getting ready to go on a date with my boyfriend. I put on my new black dress from House of CB that I've been really excited to wear. We're going to this fancy restaurant that we've never been to before. He came to pick me up at 7 in his Bentley. Honestly, I put Bentley because people like Bentleys. I've got no attraction to a Bentley. I don't like it, but it's an example. He picked me up in his Bentley that perfectly matched my dress. He's wearing a black suit that fits his tall frame perfectly. The dinner was so lovely, and I just love listening to his accent. We were planning where we wanted to go on our next vacation during the dinner, and I'm so grateful that I met such a gorgeous, loving, loyal partner who treats me like a queen. So I compressed this as short as possible with as much information as possible. Of course, you can drag it out. It's like you're writing a story about something that's already happened to you. So notice I put a lot of specifics without actually saying anything. I said I put on a new black dress from House of CB, which means it doesn't matter if I bought it or he bought it. It's a nice fancy dress, which is kind of pricey. We're going to a fancy restaurant we've never been to before, meaning you probably go to restaurants all the time. You like trying out new restaurants. He picked me up in a Bentley. It's already elaborated on his financial situation. He wore a black suit that fit his tall frame perfectly. You're saying you want your man to be well dressed. You like your man to be taller, so you don't have to write he's 6'5", he's whatever. Whatever tall is to you, you know what that is, okay? You love listening to his accent. This means if you want someone who's from a different country or whatever. You're not specifying the country, you're not specifying everything, you're just specifying that you like the sound of his accent. You're planning where you want to go on our next vacation, meaning you've already gone on vacation before. Travel is something that's important to you in your relationship, so you travel with him. You're grateful that you met a gorgeous, loving, loyal partner who treats you like a queen. So whatever treating you like a queen is to you, that is all covered. So instead of just making a list of saying, my man is 6 foot tall, he is dark, he's got blue eyes, he's got a British accent, you're sort of leaving it open to it's an accent you like, it's a height you like, it's in the money range that you like. And then now for finance. For finance, I do it almost completely different to love because you need to be a little bit more specific with finance, but again, still open-ended. So when I do my finances, my finance journal entry is quite long because what I envision is what I would see as like my most ideal life, my most ideal self, right? So this is how you need to see it. What is an ideal life to you, especially within the next year? It doesn't matter if it seems unrealistic to other people, as long as you can personally believe it and it's realistic to you, that's what it is. So let's say your dream life is compared to the way you're living now. Maybe I'm not going to do any comparisons. This is just going to be assuming this is not the way you live now. So I actually wrote it down as well so I can read from it so that I can get through it as quick as possible. I work from Monday to Friday and I don't work past 5 p.m. I eat very healthy food and it tastes really good and consists of all my favorite foods and fruits like salmon, peaches, mushroom, and other treats like pizza and brownies. I eat out at a fancy restaurant at least twice a month. Help my family with whatever this amount of money. Let's say I give my family $1,000 a month to help out. I go on vacation twice a year to international locations. I buy all my favorite skincare and hair care, and I treat myself to my favorite makeup at least once every 2 months. This is like a little idea of the kind of life that you're living. What you want to do after doing that, the ideal life, only in terms of things that would need finances to fund it, then what you want to do is make a budget, a future budget for the money that you don't have. You will break down the cost of everything. And of course, some of the things you're already doing them, so you just include them in the budget. So let's say if you're already going to the gym, you're going to continue going to the same gym, include it in the budget. Include the cost of food, gas, your makeup, your skincare, travel, every single thing that you can think of. Add everything by 12 if it's a monthly payment. And then if it's something that's an individual thing you're saving up for, of course, you leave it the same. Like if it's an air ticket or 2 air tickets, the one-off costs, just add them individually. The monthly costs, multiply them by 12. Add everything together. Okay, so my camera cut off, not sure exactly where, but anyway, let's continue. So like I said, once you figure out exactly what it is, you would divide that number by 12. That will give you the exact amount of money you need to make every single month, obviously on average. If you do anything that's like a side hustle or business, that means some months are high, some months are low. At the end of the day, it could still average out to what you want. Now, here's the thing that I personally do. My plan with finances is always to fail forward. When you set a financial goal, there's always a very high chance that you won't actually hit the exact goal. But if you set your goal higher than your initial goal, you're most likely to fail to hit to the higher goal, but probably be higher than what you got before. This may be confusing, so I'm going to use actual numbers. So let's say you currently make $2,000 a month, right? And after you've calculated everything that you can envision yourself doing in the next 1 year, you need to start making $4,000. Here's what I personally do. You can increase the number by a little bit or by a lot. So if you want to start making $4,000 a month, I would suggest you set your goal for something like $5,000 a month, so that even if you fail, you at least be closer to the 4,000. Now, personally, like I said at the beginning of this video, I like to set massive goals and they seem realistic to me. So once I come up with the exact figure that I want, I double it. Because there's always things that I haven't accounted for, things that I didn't think of, emergencies, like when your car breaks down, you could have a health emergency, you can have anything like that. So the amount that you think you need for exactly what you want, there's usually a certain percentage on top of that that you didn't account for. So double is what I do. So if I said I want to go from $2,000 to $4,000 a month, I would set my goal for $8,000. Because if I set my goal for 4,000 and I fail, I might be at like 3,000 or 3,500. But if I set my goal for $8,000 and I fail, I could be at 6,000, which is still more than 4,000. So I don't know if that makes sense to you, but it makes a lot of sense to me. And that is the number I journal about. And also, sometimes this has happened to me more than once. I can actually exceed the goal that I set for myself. It sounds very unrealistic, but you can exceed your expectations. And I'm speaking from experience, and this is why I've continued with the double the figure for me, because it has worked for the past 3 years. I was working, and I don't think I've ever said the number before, but I will say it for this specific vision board video. When I was working a regular 9 to 5 job, I was working in marketing. I was working from Monday to Saturday. From Monday to Friday, I would work from 9 to 5. And then on Saturday, it would be a half day. So it would be like 9, I think it was like a 10 to 1, but still an hour to get to work and an hour to get back home. So once I've done the whole half day Saturday, it's still taken my entire day. I only had 1 day to rest. And doing all that, no matter how hard you work, because obviously that's how 9 to 5 works, whatever you get paid at the end of the month is what you get paid at the end of the month. I was getting $300. And I was like, if I could just figure out a way to make $1,000 a month, I'm going to quit my job. That was after I got the promotion. I was making less than that before that, right? And that's, of course, I live in a third world country. It's not like a terrible salary. It's actually like average, like a middle class salary. So that's what I was getting. But that wasn't enough for my goals. I was like, I know I can do better than this. So I'm going to start making more money and I'm going to go full time on social media. I went from making $300 a month to making $1,000 a month. Then I started doing investments and stuff like that. And it could go anywhere from $2,000, $3,000, $7,000. I've made a $10,000 month. So if you told me that 3 years ago I was making $300, would it actually sound realistic to say you're going to make $10,000 in one single month? No. But who are you? What are your goals? What do you think you're capable of? So try that and see if it works for your financial goals. Now, I know this is kind of a longish video. I'm trying not to make it too long, but I want you to have the best vision board ever, okay? So after love and finances, the other sections are very less loaded, okay? Another step that is highly overlooked that will actually help you manifest all the goals on your vision board is to set your goals as systems instead of the end goal. A lot of us just focus on the end goal and you don't think about any part of the system that's going to get you to that goal. So in one of my examples, you did see me write about going to the gym. I wake up at 6 a.m. to go to the gym and put on a really cute outfit, right? If you're not setting the system to get to the goal, you will never figure out how to get the goal. You can't just make your vision board and make all these goals like, I want to make $4,000 now. I want to drive this car. I want to do this. And you're not doing anything at all to get to that goal. So as you're journaling, you can set your goals as go to the gym 3 times a week, eat healthy food. When you put pictures of food, it should be like a lot of protein with some vegetables. So you have the systems that you have in mind, because everybody has goals. When you go to a marathon and there's people running, even if there's 100 people running, they all want to be number one. So surely it's not the goal that gets them to be number one. It's the systems that they have in place to get them to number one. Once all your journaling is done with all your 4 sections, I like to save journaling. Like my journal day and the making the vision board are usually separate days because I like to take my time and I like to put myself in a very like calm environment. And if it's a day where I'm like, I'm going to do my vision board journal today and I wake up and I'm feeling tired and I'm feeling like crap and I'm just not having a good day, I'm not going to journal on that day. You want to have a day where you're feeling good to the point where you can truly believe the things that you're writing about. Not like writing, I feel so amazing in my body. And then in the back of your mind, you're like, yeah, right. You just ate like 3 whole pizzas. There's no way you're actually going to do this. Like anything in your mind that's going to argue with you, that's not the day you want to do it. So I like to, first of all, set the scene. I plan the day and hope it's exactly what I want. And so if I wake up and I'm like, yeah, today's the day, I can feel it. Today's the day I'm working on my vision board. Wake up in the morning, I'll make sure I have a nice breakfast. I will make sure I will work out so that I'm already in the mood, ready for the new year. I'll prepare myself a really good dinner. It doesn't matter if it's a healthy dinner or or an unhealthy dinner. The fact is that I truly enjoy the dinner and I feel good while I'm eating and after eating. I give myself a nice deep soak in the tub. I put on my favorite lotions. I wear my favorite perfume, so I'm smelling good. I start the journal after I've eaten. You can journal whatever time you want, but I like to do it after dinner. So I have an early dinner. I make sure that the lights are nice and low. I have my nice cup of tea with maybe a little piece of chocolate on the side. I play very study music in the background where it just sounds kind of like meditation music. That's all I play so that I can focus on what I'm doing. And I'm just in a very calm and zen space, and I can write out for as long as I want. Sometimes it can even be 2 hours. It just depends. I just let it flow. Whatever wants to come out on the page, that's what I write on the page when I'm journaling. So now this is when we get to the fun part, which is the vision board making process. Now, I usually do this either the next day or a couple of days later, because this just becomes super easy. It's just like a game. I'm just looking for aesthetic pictures because I've done all the hard work already. Now, a lot of people like to use a lot of text. I know you can barely see my vision board in the back, but it's mostly pictures. I'm a very visual person, so I like to look at a lot of pictures and then just put a few words. Some people like to do the magazine cutouts, which I used to do that for years because it was the most popular thing. But then I discovered Pinterest became my best bet because I have very specific aesthetic things, the way I want things to look. And sometimes it's just difficult to get exactly what you want on Google. Pinterest is just the best place for me. But again, if you want to use Google, you can use Google. If you want to use magazines, you can use magazines. Search for quotes, search for pictures, whatever you want, you can find everything. But my best recommendation is Pinterest. So also for the pictures that you choose, you can choose very specific pictures that are exact versions of exactly what's in the list of your goals, or you could put pictures that are vague, that if someone else took a peek at your vision board, they would have no idea what it's about. That's kind of what my vision board looks like. It just looks like a very aesthetic poster in my room. Certain things that are very specific, like I need a new phone. So there is a picture of an iPhone 15 on my vision board. So obviously you see that and don't think, does she want to learn how to manufacture phones? You see that and you're like, oh, that's an iPhone. She wants an iPhone. That's straightforward. But for other things, I like to be very vague so that it only has meaning to me. So I'll give you some examples. If you're wondering why I'm not showing you my specific vision board, it's because this vision board is for me. I like to keep my goals and my manifestations to myself. However, I will pop up some of my older vision boards, including last year's, where the things actually came true. If you're a more visual person like me and you want to put in some quotes, the first thing I advise is to put in very short quotes, okay? If you put in something long that takes you a while to read, you're most likely to not read it every day. Or if you just glance past it, you're probably going to ignore most of it. 2 sentences, max 3 is what you want. From this distance, when I turn behind, I can read almost all the quotes except one. Those are the pictures that you should get. Another example is I've been learning French for a couple years, but I haven't been very serious. It's a little Duolingo here and there, but I decided I want to be actually fluent in French. And so instead of putting a picture of the French flag or the word French, I just put a new French quote that I had never heard before. I actually like it, and I like what the quote says as well. And so that quote in French is just like me. Every time I read it in French and I know what it means. So it's symbolizing me being fluent in French. This part is the most creative part. It is the part where you can do whatever you want, whether people think it's difficult or not, whether I'm advising to put more pictures than text. You can say, I don't care if you think pictures are better. I want more text, or I want no quotes at all. This is where you can be fancy and do whatever you want, but there is one little thing that you should focus on. How do you want your vision board and where do you want it to be? Do you want a physical vision board like mine? Do you want a digital vision board? Is it going to be the background of your laptop or your phone, or are you going to stick it up? If it's going to be the background of your laptop, that's usually fine because you don't mind. You're already making it for that. But if it's going to be something that you print out and put in your house, one, you want to make it aesthetically pleasing with the aesthetic of your room. They fit in with the vibe of my room. If you put up the vision board and every time you look at it, instead of looking at the board, you think, "Ooh, that's a nice word." It doesn't fit in with the aesthetic of the room. It looks very odd. Also, put it in a place where you're more likely to see just yourself, not like everyone in the house, especially if you live with other people. But even if you don't, like people come into the house, if you put it like right in the middle of your living room, like a painting, every single person that walks in is like, bringing their energy in and looking at your vision board. It's nice to put it in a place like your room. It can be somewhere like in your closet, near your bathroom, as long as you're comfortable with putting it up where you can see it all the time and it looks good to you. That's what you should do. So for me, I always like to print it. For some reason, I didn't print it last year. I only had a digital one and I felt the difference, okay? I like mine to be printed. I like them to be on canvas. I would usually just go to my local printing place and just print on like a gloss paper. But this year, my sister and I went and we had our little vision board party, just the two of us. And we decided to go to a photo company, and it was just meant to be because we went to the mall late and every other printing place was closed. And the only place that was open was a photo studio, and they had photo paper, and it's perfect. I will now always use this paper because I like the paper to be like high quality and aesthetically pleasing. And like, these are my vision board goals. These are my goals for the entire year. So spending a little bit of money, which it really is a little bit of money, is very worth it. The canvas is the same canvas I've been using for the past 3 years. And so I feel like the positive energy of the previous vision boards that worked still are behind. And once you get the canvas that's the size that you want, you can either ask the place where you're buying from what the dimensions of the board are, so that when you go on Canva or Photoshop, you can find out the dimensions and put the pictures as a collage in that already, so that when you print, you don't have to print like 30 individual photos. That would be very expensive. So I only printed 2. I got 2 A5 papers to make the size of the canvas that I have. And then I cut them out and then stuck them. And if you're thinking, oh my God, this is going to take me so long. Well, it should. These are your goals for the whole year. You deserve to take a little bit of time on them. It is not too late. I'm assuming you're watching this video because you either want to tweak your vision board, you're not sure if your vision board was good enough or if it will work, or you haven't made your vision board yet and you might be thinking, New Year resolution time is almost like over now. Maybe I shouldn't do a vision board. Last year, I made my latest vision board ever. Like, I had my goals and the journaling written down. I did all that, but I just didn't bring myself to make the board. And I only made it in like July or something like that. So it is never too late. Unless it's like December, then you might as well make the vision board for the next year, including that December when you're journaling. But right now, even if you're watching this in February or March, it is not too late. Make that vision board. Now, if you've already made it and you like making vision boards and you just watched this video for entertainment, please let me know in the comment section below. If you are going to make a vision board after watching this, please feel free to share it with me. You don't have to share your goals. Just let me know if you made it and you're happy with it. I'm very excited to see it. Hit my face right there to subscribe and watch this video if you want anything that's similar to this content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!